Good morning. I'm here at the office. I don't have to be at the office too much, but I do have an office. But the point is, I'm looking at this here. Let me show you. All these are opals that I bought. And all of them are sitting here on my desk. Now this one's kind of cool. I think this one's kind of cool just as a cluster of knobbies. But what do you think all of those have in common that would make me not at all uncomfortable to leave them sitting on my desk where they could walk off? Not that anybody here steals. Honestly, I'm not thinking that anybody does. But what do you think those have in common? All right, here is the idea for a video tonight. I think this might be fun. I'm sitting here looking at Opal. I don't need to buy any more Opal rough, but I'm still looking at Opal, and I'm going to buy some. So I'm going to go over, let's do a video. What things have I found that are red flags, or what things that I look for when I actually buy something? And we'll buy a couple of things, and then we can do a follow-up video and see if what I end up buying ends up being what I get and what I expect, or if it's better or worse. And let's just see how it goes. So let's look. What I'm looking at tonight is some Facebook groups, and I found some of those to be good sources for rough opal, and some of them to sell a lot of garbage. But let's look at specifically some of these auctions that are up tonight, and I'll show you the ones that I think I might buy and the ones that I think I won't, and why. Alright, so this first video shows the opals in a jar. Now, opals in a jar should be a red flag, because they magnify the opal. For some reason, they'll pull out colors that, I mean, they're there, but they'll magnify and make them look way brighter than they actually are. So you look at an auction that has a jar full of opals and colors everywhere, and then you buy it, and it comes in and it's in a bag, and you're looking at it like, where's the... And, you know, you go put it in water, and you look at it and twist it and turn it. But so for some reason, opal in a jar in water looks way better than outside. That's okay as long as you're aware of that they're magnified so that they're going to be smaller than they look in the jar, and the color just really going to pop. So this one right here, we have the opportunity to look at it in the jar, and then we also have the opportunity to look at it not in the jar. So there's a couple things here that interest me. This, here it comes. There's a lightning ridge piece in here. I haven't had much luck with lightning ridge stuff, but this one looks interesting. Right there, that one. So now let's look at this in the so here it is outside the jar. You get a better idea. So that one, if you noticed, let's see, it had some fractures in the color bar, and so that one would probably have to be split in two and get two different stones if it made anything. Right? That one right there got a nice color bar, a lot of sand right in the middle of it. Kind of a sandy mess. Wouldn't count on that one. That one. That one. Now, here's the thing. I want this for a specific reason. I want to do a men's ring or men's pendant, and blue on black is kind of what I was thinking. I'm wondering if a slice of this one, it's, you know, it's very directional flagstone, but it's on black, and that right there is the one that got me interested in this one. Don't see a whole lot there. That one right there, I would bet that one. Look at that color. That one, I think if you took that top off right there, I would think that that one would cut something. Really, really good color on that piece. This one right here has just got a razor thin color bar on this side. It's slightly better on this side, but I think you could cut a pretty decent size. I mean, looks like that one, that piece right there is probably 8 carats or so. You probably cut something 2 or 3 carats. This one right here, there's a big flash of color right there on that side. You'll see it as it comes around. Oh, didn't get a chance to look at it, but this one, the color bar's right up in the, not much on that one. That one's got really gemmy colors, but look at the way the color bar was. I wouldn't expect anything. That one right there, also very, very, very thin color bar on the top of it. You might get a small one out of that. So I bought that parcel because there was that blue one intrigued me, and it was from a guy that I'd already had parcels sitting there that I'd bought, so shipping was going to be free, and I actually got him to combine that one with another one that I'll show you right now. Look at this one. Obviously another lightning ridge. This one is fascinating. I don't know. I don't see a color bar. You see this color all over through it. Now he's got it wet. And I think that probably there's nothing in the back side of this. They wouldn't have rubbed it and kept going if that was all the way through it. But I think you've got a stone right there on the face of it, if nothing else. If you slice that top off, this top right here, sliced it, even if you couldn't get that sand out, I think you'd end up with a carat or two of that not super saturated color, but very bright and colorful. So I messaged him and said, hey, what would you take for that one and that other parcel, and combine it with mine, and we kind of cut a deal. So I think I'll wait and tell you what I paid for these after we get them in the mail, so that we can talk about value and whether I make money, lose money, break even. We'll see what happens. Let's look at another one. Let's look at this one. This is a lightning ridge rub. Here's the thing about rubs. There's two reasons to have rubs for sale. One, the miner or whoever's selling it thought this is probably way better than it looks from the outside, and if I rub it and expose the color and prove that, I'll get more out of it. Or two, someone thinks that there might be something in this, and they rub it and go, no, that's not going to work. Full of sand, not enough color, thin color bar, whatever it is. Most of the time when you're looking at lower end parcels, the rubs are in there because somebody said, nah, that didn't pan out. That's not going to get me value. And they pass it on. Not always, but that's what you find a lot of the time. I think this is a good example. Let me tell you why. You can see right here on the edge of it, they started to get something out of it, and the color bar has disappeared right there. So they're down to nothing. So you're going to have to take this into at least right here. You know, it's so thin you couldn't roll that at all. I believe it's 6.6 carats, but look how thick that is. So it's way thicker than you would want. It's almost twice as thick. So you cut that in half, you actually got 3 carats here. You roll that in and trip it into a stone, you're probably going to have about, I think you'd be lucky to get something for 2 carats in that. Let's play the video. I have to turn off the music so I didn't get copyright infringement. You can see that's just razor thin color bar. By the time you got it cut down, you might end up with a carrot of kind of, I mean, it's kind of a pretty green and that stuff. But how much you think they're asking for that one? For that, you're gonna get a stone out of that one. And what would you pay for it? Well, $550 for that one. Kind of a single color, very thin. You'd have a very flat top. You couldn't get any sort of a dome on it. For me, $550 for that, way higher than I'd be willing to pay. What would you guys do? Would you guys pay that? I mean, that's world famous Lightning Ridge. Would you buy it? Okay, so here's a very budget friendly auction. This one is labeled as very small cutters and inlay. I know from watching the video that this would be inlay. This is probably too thin to get anything but inlay. This one is too small, I think, to cut anything. This one, the color bar is just right there on the tip. You're looking at a very small pointer. This one right here is probably the only one that you might get a small cutter out of. Now, for example, the same person has this auction up for only $10 more right now. And this is, instead of very small cutters and inlay, this is cutters and small cutters. And you can see these are significantly bigger. This is centimeters. You know, these are still small, but this one, notice the crack. So you're gonna get two little bitty. You know, this thing probably doesn't weigh a carrot and a half. Cut it in half, and what do you end up with? Very small. Possible stone there, possible stone there, possible stone there, possible stone there. You know, and these ones pointers. Almost every one of those, with the exception of probably this one with the crack. You know, it just depends on if you want. But I think this one right here is by far the better value, because every one of those, almost every one of those, has the chance of cutting you something a carat or larger when it's finished. And if the difference is only $10, I take that one all day long. I actually have a bid on this one. Okay, now this one right here, actually I watched back it up a little bit. I watched the video on it and I just couldn't tell. So I reached out to the guy and said, hey, I can't really see what's going on there. Do you have another video of that one? And he sent me this video of it dry, which is a pretty good idea. That's what it looks like, dry, not wet. And then we can look at the same one wet. You can see pretty good. Two color bars on this side that are pretty good. They narrow down to the other side. On this side, they're a little bit narrower, but I think at least 2/3 of that right there, you're going to get a good chance of cutting something solid out of. But that parcel, I believe, had two pieces in it, but this is the one that I bought it for. So I did pick this one up. Again, all of these are, they're not like dirt. They're not like super budget parcels. And as you'll find as I do these videos, I'm finding that you get value if you're trying to look for stuff in the $5, $10, $15 per rough. The chances of getting anything out of that is almost nothing. If you bought 10 of those trying to get something and none of them cut anything, and that's very likely, even if you spent 5 times, you spent $20 trying to get something to cut, those are a long shot, and we'll go over in some videos that are coming why. But if you go up just a little bit, this is obviously like Lightning Ridge rough can be $10,000 for, you know, one piece of rough, and it could turn to sand and it could be worth $100,000. But for us, this Cooper Pedy stuff, the Mintaby, the Lambina, the stuff that's, you know, very nice, but not that top tier. We're not looking for that, most of us. We're looking for something that'll cut a usable gem, that's pretty, that's got good color, that, you know, that's not just super directional, and without spending thousands of dollars to learn how to cut stuff. So this one right here is the reason why. Here it is dry. Alright, here it is dry. This one does have this thing right here with the potential for a crack right there. Let's look at it dry so you guys can kind of get an idea of how much it changes it. Good color on that face right there. You can see it's pretty good sized. And again, there's that crack. Now let's go to the wet and see how much it changes. And look at that big, thick color bar all the way around. That one is just about a no-brainer. That one's going to cut, you know, a pretty good sized, I would say. I'm going to predict that that one cuts something 3-4 carats at least. I don't remember. Hang on. Yeah, I'm trying to. So these ads have been pulled down, so I can't go back. But if my memory was that these two combined were about 35 or 40 carats. So if that one is somewhere around 15 to 20 carats, with that color bar, you might get 8 carats on that one. That's my memory. And so this stuff right here, I'm pretty sure. Let me check. You know, something that bright and that big. Again, I think that's a very good value. We'll see when they come in. We'll be able to do a video, actually look at them, cut them, see what we end up with. Do I get enough out of that one to pay for the parcel of 2? And I'm going to say that in this case, it looks very likely that that should cut something really, really nice. So like I was saying, I mean, I've tried all over through nothing in the upper tier stuff, but I've tried, you know, snagging $5, $10, $15, $20 auctions and you know, cheaper parcels that had stuff like that, and it's really, really, really tough to get anything. And they all say it's for practice, and I mean, how many junk stones do you need to cut before you know kind of how to hold the, you know, how to cut? For you, I don't know, 2, 5, 10, but I mean, how many do you really want to cut that are just junk and just color? I would rather cut something that when I finish, I mean, I wouldn't want to waste $100 or $200 or $500 on a rough on my first one, but as soon as I successfully rubbed out a good shape, I was like, okay, well, if this was actually good quality rough, I would have a very nice gem now, but I don't because I'm rubbing junk. So I didn't do too many that way because it wasn't any fun. It's very fun to get these medium level stuff and watch those gems just emerge and the colors start blowing up out of them and that stuff. That's what's fun about this. Alright, let's consider one more of these. This is a giant piece right here. If you wanted to buy this for a specimen, okay, that might be one thing, but if you're trying to get something out of this to cut, let's look. Now let's look at this right here. This is a good example. So we have a color bar here that's waving and diving down off the face. On this side, it doesn't dive back up, so you couldn't just cut this at an angle and face it that way like you can on some. You have a wavy one that dives down, pinches down to nothing here, opens up to a nice pocket of color right there, and then from there back, it's almost an ounce of potch there. But in addition to that wavy diving color bar that's only in this one corner, notice the big crack right here. I didn't have to look at the title to this one to know where this one was from. You guys want to take a guess where that one's from? It's from Mintaby, and Mintaby is notoriously prone to cracking. cracks there, cracks there, cracks there. Just that one right there. I mean, you're not going to be thousands of dollars into that one, but if you wanted to cut, you have a crack right through the middle of the one good pocket of color on this side, and I mean, that would be hard to cut anything out of. And that one's got big crack in it. So that's a good example of one that I would just simply avoid if I was trying to get something to cut. If you're looking for a specimen, that big cool piece, again, it's only got color in that one corner, so I would rather have something smaller with color throughout for the same price. And that's just a good example of one that, for me, I would avoid that one. Somebody else may look at that and think, oh, that color bar is cool, and pick it up. But what do you guys think? Would you buy that one? Anyway, I just thought it was a fun video. I'm sitting here looking at stuff and buying opal rough I don't need. I will be picking up a calving machine on Sunday. Arranged to meet with the guy, and so I won't have to be doing my videos on my 2x72 grinder, and it'll have actually a good polishing wheel, so I can get a better polish on some of these opals that I've already cut. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you would, and there's more videos coming.